Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our marketing class or masterclass marketing class session 5 on landing pages. Hi, Oliver. How are you today?
Hi, Paul. Hi, everyone. I'm good. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Yes. All right, let's just give it a couple of minutes. We might start at about 1:02, so we'll just give it a couple of minutes. Remember, you can ask any questions throughout the webinar or through the class. Yeah. All right, Oliver. I think we can start. It's 1:02, and people start to join when we'll do our standard
Sure.
discussion on AF Digital.
Okay, let's start.
Yep.
All right. Hi, guys. So today we're going to be discussing about the landing pages on Marketing Cloud. We're going to teach you how to use landing pages on the cloud pages. So before that, let's have a little introduction about our company. So we are AF Digital. We are a trusted Salesforce partner. We are a multi-cloud and multinational Salesforce customer experience agency who exists to ensure that you get the best value from your Salesforce investment by providing the three things: the advisory, transformation projects, and we have the Team X. So we provide advisories and strategies, which we call health checks and quarterly business and platform guidance. And we create a roadmap and recommendations for our customers' digital transformation journey. So to ensure that the continued long-term process of our customers, we offer our team, sorry, we offer our Team X, the team extension to provide marketing and tech operations. Typical arrangements for Team X come in the form of shared marketing operations, additional fixes in the platform, and maybe create additional reports or just to guide them after the implementation that we did. So we are the one-stop shop for organizations using Salesforce. So this shows our customer with journey who journeys with us. So a large portion of our customers starts with the power on. We rapidly activate all the Salesforce licenses to ensure they start creating value from their Salesforce investments. So if a customer is ready to a Salesforce user is already a Salesforce user, they can start with the health check to fully optimize their platform use. So we provide a roadmap, the art of the possible architecture to reimagine how they can better serve their customers. In order to achieve a 360-degree view of the customer, we integrate all the internal systems. We also have customers who need our help in certain custom projects. Then we have our Team X, ongoing support for their entire marketing and tech operations. All right. So for today, it's gonna be it's gonna be me and Paul Cheng.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Just introduce myself again for anyone who hasn't heard in previous masterclasses. Salesforce Marketing Cloud Practice Director here at AF Digital. I have 10 years plus experience on Marketing Cloud. I actually started when it was called Exact Target, going back 10 years ago. And then we were acquired by Salesforce, and I led the Salesforce Professional Services Management team, working with customers such as Woolworths, McDonald's, and that. But yeah, here to really give you my advice you on how you can best use a product to achieve your objectives.
All right, thanks, Paul. And I'm Oliver Victoriano, one of the marketing cloud consultants in EF Digital. So I'm doing a lot of marketing cloud implementations. I'm a certified email specialist and a marketing cloud consultant. So just to recap what we covered last week. So we discussed about the email build. So we've discussed the AMP script, the email build, and then we have also discussed the tracking and reporting. So in the AMP script, we showed you the different basic syntax, how to declare variables, and setting that variables, and use that to use on a simple personalization to display on your email. And also in the email build, we discussed about the difference between the template and the template-based email, for you to use the template that you'll be creating on your email, and then content blocks, of course, and then personalization, how to display personalizations on your email. We also discussed the UTM parameters. So if you have, yep. And then we also have discussed the test send and how to do a test send on your email and how to send an email. And also we discussed the tracking reporting. And for today, what we'll be covering for today is about landing pages. So we're going to be discussing about the cloud pages. Within that cloud pages, I'm going to be discussing about the collection and items, URL with the SAP. This is a great topic. And content blocks, especially the smart capture. How can you use the smart capture on your cloud page, on the landing page? And the save and publish. And also, I'm going to be discussing about web collect. I'm going to give you an example web collect form that you can use, and also an AMP script, and how to display the personalization using AMP script and will be used on your cloud page. And then after that, we're going to do a demo and then a question and answer. All right, let's start. So cloud pages. So in Web Studio, it lets you collect customers' data to manage personalized marketing across web experiences. In Cloud Pages is a marketing cloud application to use and create and publish marketing content to customers across multiple channels. These multiple channels are the following: the landing pages, the mobile push messages, and microsites. So if you can see, you can access the cloud page on the Web Studio and then click on the cloud pages. So example screenshot here, you can see here that you can see an example how to create landing pages based on the cloud page. So the first topic topic that I want to discuss is about the collections and items. So in cloud pages, collection is like the folder in Marketing Cloud. So we treat the collection is equals to folder. We can insert a lot of items or assets inside that collection. So in the items, we can create landing pages, which is the HTML, of course, and we can also create different code resource like the CSS, JSON files, JavaScript, RSS, text, and XML. So as you can see here in the GF on the right side, this is the UI on how to create your collection and how to create items inside your collection. All right, next. The next topic that I want to discuss to you is URL with Sender Authentication Package. So what is SAP? So Sender Authentication Package helps your subscriber identify with and increase awareness of your brand. It's like your URL it's like the branding within your URL. So like an example here on the screenshot below, this is an example of a URL with the SAP integrated on it. So you can see here that the link would be cloud.m.afdigital.com, and the slash, of course, the domain that you want to name on your page, the masterclass, whatever. And then if that link is going to be viewed on your browsers, it's going to be showing like this. If your URL doesn't have any SAP on it integrated, the default will be showing on the default value will be showing on your URL. Just like on here on the right side, your URL without SAP. This is like showing that the pub.s7.exacttarget.com, and then this one that there's no flexibility on naming your page. So that's on when you're viewing your page on your browser, it's going to be looking like this.
Yeah, I think it's always recommended to get to ensure your branding is on those landing pages, because it does help with customers recognizing your brand. So yeah, just like
Right.
we've got there, the cloud.m.af digital.
Yep.
Um,
So we
but yeah, this
always
should come as
recommend.
part of your package when you get
Sure.
Marketing Cloud.
Yes. So we always recommend that before we start building cloud pages, we always recommend to our clients that you should have your SAP configured first on your account before we proceed to creating or doing landing pages on your account.
Yes. And I mean, I've got this in best practice, but I also want to mention there is that typically, if you are going to be having any PII data, personally identified information on these pages, it is recommended that you get a SSL certificate or secure pages, so that you're definitely able to show that PII data, and it's not going to, you're not going to show any data that might be hacked or taken. So that's our recommendation. And when we do work with our customers and we build preference pages or update your details pages, that is always our recommendation to get HTTPS. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. As Paul. And next that I want to discuss here is about the content blocks. So in Cloud Page, when you're creating a Cloud Page or a landing page, we have now the option to do the the different types of content blocks, like what we can see on the email build while we're doing an email. So we have the buttons, the freeform, the HTML, the image block, and of course the smart capture and the text. And also you can use a reference block in case you want to use a block that you want to show on your email, and it is also you want to also display it on your landing page, and it's referencing on just one content block. You can use that one, so that when you use the reference block, you can have a single point of view on editing the content, so that it will automatically update on your email and on your landing page at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, though that reference block is definitely something I'd recommend, especially when you are creating journeys. What we have found with a lot of customers, that let's say you've got a promotion that runs on a monthly basis, you've got all these journeys, all these emails that have that particular content block in them. So what reference block allows you to do is have one master reference block to then just update that, which will then update all those emails with that reference block next time it gets sent. So it's a really convenient block to use in order to keep everything updated on any emails you've built within journeys, because you might think you might have like 3 or 4 journeys running, or even maybe 10 with like 3 or 4 emails in it. It gets a lot, and it'll start building and start building. So yeah, reference blocks are great to use in that respect. Just remember to put those reference blocks in a separate folder, so that when you are building, when anyone comes in, they don't accidentally change those reference blocks, or you accidentally delete that, because then you would have to go back and update all the emails with a new reference block. Some other things I've got here, I've already mentioned about the Sender Authentication Package. What I want to make a mention about the Sender Authentication Package, some of our customers have made multiple brands. They do use the one business unit, so you just have to be aware that if you are using one business unit, that the landing page is going to be seen by both brands. So you want to try to make it very generic, so that both brands can use the one landing page URL. In some cases, you could be like, my brands or something like that, but usually something generic. What else I've just got here is the reference block I've mentioned. Content builder is come out, and I'm not sure if anyone here's ever used exact target days, but essentially allows you to share email content across landing pages and email. So you have this one library of information where you can create it for the email and create it for your landing page. Dragging it straight from an email into a landing page, or straight using it in email and landing pages, is going to give you that consistency from an email to the landing page. And as mentioned, you have the ability to use Smart Capture. Smart Capture is a great tool. It allows you to capture data, but data that's captured in Smart Capture goes into a data extension. And typically the subscriber key would be an email address, because you wouldn't be able to create the customer number there. So things to think about there when you are using Smart Capture. But it does allow you to then, once I hit submit, trigger a journey. So then you've got the automatically send an email and start onboarding them onto your email program. We have used customers, if you are using Salesforce CRM integration with Marketing Cloud, then you can use Marketing Cloud land pages, build the front end and add the web to lead code on the back of that, so that then data can go straight into Salesforce CRM. Yeah, just some of my tips on what we discussed.
Right. Thanks, Paul. I love this web to lead code. Next, I want next discuss next is the save and publish. So in cloud pages, if like for example you're done doing your cloud pages, if you're already um if you're already done doing the cloud page, you can here you have the option. You have two options to publish your cloud pages. You have the publish immediately and then the schedule publish for later. So if you click on the publish immediately, this publishes your page onto the web immediately. So if you try to publish that and then view that link, you can now you use and see the page. So if you on the other side, if you use the schedule publish for later, you have the option to publish when will that page be published, or when will that page be active. So you can have the publish date and the time zone. And if you click on save and publish, that's gonna be showing on the World Wide Web.
And that works really well when you've got promotions and you want to set it live at like 12:01. So
True. Yep.
really great to set
Yeah. For
things up
example,
like that.
you have a promotion like saying that my promotion is gonna be starting like tomorrow midnight on a 12:01 a.m. Then the landing this save and publish gonna allows you to publish that page exactly on that time and on specific time zone. Next, I want to discuss about the web collect. So this is a cool feature in Marketing Cloud Email Studio. So web collect is a email studio sign up form functionality that allows your subscribers to subscribe or provide attribute information or unsubscribe from your communication on your website. So this is an example that you can see here. This is an example of a web collect code that can be created on Marketing Cloud in Cloud Pages. So example here on the right side, on the left side, you have the code here when you're building the cloud page, and on the right side you can see the form that you're creating. This web collect form is works like for example, the customer uses this web collect form. It directly inserts a data on the data extension. So later during the when a demo, I'm gonna show you how to create this web collect form and how this inserts data on your data extension.
Yeah, so just a use case of where we've used Web Collect for some of our customers is we've used it on, we've given this code to customers who want to do pop-ups on their websites because Smart Captcha wouldn't be able to handle that. So that's some of the use cases for the differences between Web Collect. In case you're asking, well, why would I use Web Collect or not Smart Captcha? So there's some pros and cons in both, but typically the use case has been Smart Captcha is its own landing page. You can iframe it into another land page, whereas this is just straight HTML code that's provided and you can do whatever you want with it within your website.
Yep, true. For example, this web collect form, since it is a HTML, it's made out of HTML, you can insert it on your personal website and not just on cloud page, and then use that form, to display like Paul said, the pop-up form or a pop-up modal. Then a user can insert their information there, and then it will directly saves onto the data extension in Marketing Cloud. So
So
next,
we have a
yeah,
question here.
yes,
I'm
go
going to
ahead,
just
Paul.
go, if you want to answer one, but can you duplicate landing pages? We send out weekly newsletters and often have short articles that link through to more info on landing page. Is there a function to duplicate a landing page template? So do we have to create the landing page template each time we make one? I'm not sure if you can duplicate landing pages, but what I would probably suggest you do is use reference blocks if you're creating the same content on a landing page. So that way you're just updating one content block.
Yeah.
We can.
And also, if your question is about duplicating landing pages, in the cloud pages, as of the moment, you don't have the option like in the email to duplicate what you've created. So if you want to duplicate a landing page, you need to create a new asset and copy paste the code on that new item that you just created, like for example, a landing page. I hope that answers your
So
question.
yes. So yeah, just again, reference blocks does work on landing pages as well. So we have had a use case of a customer who has used reference block and landing pages for a progress type report. So on the landing page, it will just show they'll update one reference block that goes on the email, but it also gets updated on the landing page. So if a person wanted to go down and see all the other reference blocks that are existing for all the status updates, they can go to one landing page.
True. All right. All right. Next, I want to discuss about the AMP script in cloud pages. Um, in cloud pages, you can also use AMP script, just like what you can use it on email. So in AMP script in cloud pages, one use case that we can show here is that you can like query a record on your data extension and display that record like personal information on your cloud page. Like for example, here that you can see in the screenshot, this is an example on an ad script that displays, a query on your data extension. And from that data extension, you're pulling out the information from it. Like, for example, the first name and the last name. Like, for example, you have a page that you want to show, a first name or a last name or birthday, age, whatever. That is present on your data extension. That is possible through AMP and pulling those records on the data extension and display it on the landing page. So an output here, the example on the bottom, is that I displayed the first name and the last name. And when you try to view it on your browser, it's going to be like that, getting the data straight from your data extension.
Yeah, so some of the best practice on that is, so when you are creating landing pages, I'm not sure if anyone's clicked on the advanced settings, but you can actually use it for SEO. I'm not, and don't quote me, I'm not sure whether it works, but there's a page title, and you can add a description and things like that. You can also prevent search engines from finding the page or following it. Again, test it. With obviously search engines, it takes a little while for it to crawl and then to discover your page. So something to think about there. As mentioned on the AMP script, very well can be used for personalization on the page to make it more relevant for that person. But just be remembering that when you are having more personal relevant information on that page, if they do share that to their friends or anyone, that information doesn't change for that particular person. So you just want to make sure that it doesn't contain any sensitive information. Again, when you're working, if you are working with an agency or outside creative agency, they can really essentially provide you with the HTML. You can paste it straight in and not have to go through the content blocks as well. But that helps there. And then, yeah, I guess before we jump into the demo, I think which is next, is just always when creating page, be creative. I mean, we've worked with customers and where they've created almost like a survey page. I think if you remember, Oliver, the one you did where we had they can select multiple content blocks to kind of vote. So we've done that type of structure.
Yeah. Always be creative when doing a landing page. It's true. All right. Thanks, Paul. Right, this is the fun part. We're gonna do a demo.
Hi, Stunt. Good morning to you.
All right. So here in the demo, I'm going to show you first a data extension that we're going to be using on our cloud pages. So I have this ready data extension. So I have this fields like the email address, first name, last name, mobile, and phone. let's say I want to take all this information in my clients. So it's like I'm creating a lead generation form. So let's go to so that's the data extension we're going to use. And then let's go to the cloud page. So if you, just save that. If you want to navigate on to the cloud page, you navigate on the Web Studio, and on the Web Studio, click on the cloud pages. So in the cloud pages, this is where the dashboard is. It's going to show a dashboard. So this is like, for example, here on the business unit, you can see the different type of collections that we had. So earlier I created a new collection. If you want to create a new collection, just click on the plus create collection button here, and then name your collection and then description, of course, and create and save. And then if you save, it will create a new collection. So this is the collection that I created. And then, so these are the following items that I have inside my collections. So these are all landing pages. So if you plan to, create additional items, there's a create button here, and then you have the different type of options to create items like landing pages, code resource, microsite, and mobile boost message. So let's create a landing page. So in landing page, when you're creating it, Masterclass, you should put a name on it, and of course a description if you have the description. And then this is where the SAP comes in. If you have a configured SAP on your account, especially on your cloud page, it will show here in the URL. And then this is what I'm saying, that you have the flexibility to name your page. If you don't have any SAP, it will automatically generate a link or a name, or just like different characters to display on your page, the name of your page. So here I'm gonna putting Masterclass demo page. So next, the editor. So you have two options, which is the content builder. So this is a new feature in Cloud Page, and the classic editor. So the classic editor, this option, when you click on this option, it will just it will direct you to the classic way of doing Cloud Pages on Marketing Cloud. If you select the content builder, it gives you the option to to use the templates that they have. So they have the different types of templates here, the blank, the basic 3-row, etc., etc. So let's click on the blank.
I think, yeah, I mean, I don't see a use case for using Classic anymore. So I think you should always use the content builder.
Content.
And these layouts really are kind of more of a guide, in my opinion. Anyway, you can, like Oliver selected just blank, but you could select 3 content blocks. But it doesn't really matter anymore because you can drag in and create more content blocks. This question here, Oliver.
Yeah.
When we create cloud pages using AmpScript, does it work only for known leads or anonymous leads also? So AmpScript really is only looking at people that you know.
Yep.
So
The known leads.
already known.
Like
Yeah.
they have a
So
record on your Marketing Cloud.
yeah.
So because that AmpScript in Cloudbait works is that pulling a record, pulling the data on your data extension, or pulling the data directly on your CRM if you have a Sales Cloud or Salesforce, that works also in AmpScript.
Yeah. I mean, for anonymous, there is another product called Personalization Builder, which you can add code and then you can start tracking your anonymous visitors to your site. And then once they become known, then have all this history of them. Just another question: Is there a concept? Such as completion actions on submit for forms in MC, like in Pardot? So that's what I was saying earlier. There's not so much completion actions, but if you're going straight into Marketing Cloud, then you can do journeys and then do update content. If you are using, I mean, Pardot really needs to be, well, most of the time is pushed into Salesforce CRM. So actions in Marketing Cloud when you are working with Salesforce CRM is essentially just providing the actions or flows within the CRM once something's completed.
True.
But yeah, I think in Marketing Cloud, if it's just purely Marketing Cloud, we're comparing for completion actions, it's typically using the journey. So you have they'll submit the form, they go into the journey, you can send them an email or you can do update contact, which will update a data extension of any information you need, and then you can send them an email, do update content, and do other actions.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Paul. All right. So that's how you create a an item on Cloud Pages within inside the collection. Next is I want to show you or discuss to you about the Smart Capture, how to use the Smart Capture block on your Cloud Pages. So this is a cool feature or this is a cool block that you can use on your Cloud page. Like for example, you want to capture the informations or lead generation on your Marketing Cloud. Like for example, here, this is a Smart Capture block. So I just drag this Smart Capture block here, and then configured it here. So you can also use this also in Journey. So you can use this Cloud page as an entry source in your journey if you want to select that one. Of course, you need to have the form name for you to use it. And then, like for example, here I want to use this Smart Capture to, insert data on my data extension, which is I showed you earlier. So going back, if you select on the data extension, there you go, and then select on data extension that I created. It's going to be long. There you go. If you selected this one, it will it will show you the fields within inside the data extension here. So I selected the email address as a first name, last name, mobile, and phone. See, just check on the checkbox and then they will show it on to the editor. You can also add some hidden attribute if you want to. Like for example, if you want, like if you say that if they use this form, they will automatically like email opt-in. If you have the additional field of like email opt-in, you can use that and then set that to true, of course.
Yeah, you could also use it for source. So where this source come from,
Yeah, the source,
the pages come from.
like
Yeah.
web page, landing page, or cloud page.
What I also like about what you can do here, Oliver, is that you can actually change those fields. I mean, you don't have an actual, if you have a field called terms and conditions, or you had a kind of you want to vote system, if you click on one of those fields, Oliver, you can change the way that field would look. See, it's field type there. So we can change it as checkbox or whatever radio button, and then you can start to add in additional data points in there. So it makes it easier for when they're actually selecting the values for you instead of having it free text.
And also you have data validation here. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. So let's have a use case here. Like for example, I created this one. Also, you have also the flexibility to edit the field name or the field label on here. On the field label, you want to display the best mobile. Also, you can add CSS straight up onto the page. You go back. Like for example here, let's drag a HTML block since CSS style. Create a style here, like saying that I want to have this fields or text box to be 100% text box with 100%.
I was quickly going to answer a question from Irene. Don't the values need to conclude with data extension? So I was just going to mention that they don't need to, because the data label, the field label can be very different. So maybe in your data extension, you might say, vote submission. Yeah, but you don't want to have that as the field label. that's sitting on the page. So all that means is that you just whatever value goes in there, you know what that means. So you don't need to, as long as it's mapped correctly and you understand it when it does come through into the data extension. And the field type, no, doesn't need to as well. As I said, it makes it easier when you do change the field type for those voting types. So you don't have what's your favorite animal. You can just have a drop down of either it's a dog, cat, for example, instead of someone putting elephant and things like that. It helps with your voting system. So when you are in the page, because when you create a data extension, you can't create a field that just has those two values. So that's why you use this field, the form, in order to help you make sure the data is cleansed in that way. Sorry, Oliver, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about the noise. Um, like here in the sample that I did, I created a style or a CSS that I want this text box to be like 100% width on my web page. So I just created a class and then used that class on the input type field. So I applied it on all the 5 text box.
I think one of the things that I mean with Smart Capture or the landing pages, I mean, it's good in a way that it's very open and allows you to do whatever you need to, but it also doesn't give you the functionality. Like for example, in this Smart Capture, you would need to know CSS in order to make it look a lot prettier.
Yep, true.
All right, Oliver, we're still there?
All right, sure, sorry. I'm reading some questions. Sorry. Okay. Continuation. Next is like I want to drag an image block, say on top. Drag an image block and then select an image on based on my content builder. If I have uploaded an image here, I think we have one. Let's try this one, the EFT logo. There you go. You have the flexibility, of course, to scale it to fit or adjust the width, of course, just like in build an email, right? And you can adjust the block settings so that you have a padding on top and the bottom. There you go. Let's say you're satisfied on what the form that the smart capture form that you created. You can save it and then schedule and publish onto the web directly. So let's just save it
Oliver, just
first.
another question on,
Sure.
can you reference the CSS of your website?
Actually, yes. Yes, you can actually do that by going to the code view and then insert your CSS. Let's have a format HTML first so you have a better view. And then insert the like link style the URL of your HTML of your CSS directly here. Like for example, here you can link directly the CSS like relationship style sheet, and then the href, the source of your CSS. Like just for example, most of the time we use the CSS of the Bootstrap. For it's for my it's my own way of for me to have a quick style or classes that I can use on my cloud page is I directly use a Bootstrap style. Like for example here, I can directly use that one and then use this style within this Bootstrap CSS. And of course, I just make sure that that the link will not expire. Of course, if they expired or they be gone, that CSS won't be working anymore. So I advise that use the CDN links so have better servers and they won't crashing or downtime.
But you could also create your own CSS within Marketing Cloud on landing pages.
Yes, also you can also create CSS on that. Like for example, if you go here on the content builder, you can create HTML file. And then on that HTML file, you can insert the CSS. And then use this as a reference, as a reference block on your cloud page. I hope that answers your questions.
just another question. Can you add dependencies between fields? So only show certain values or fields depending on what was populated on another. So not out of the box, that functionality is not existing within Smart Captcha. Obviously with a lot of code, you can certainly do that, but yeah, not out of the box. Any thoughts on that, Oliver?
Yeah, that's true.
Sant has another question. I have one more question from Classic Editor. Can you use Smart Captcha in Classic Editor? And if yes, then how does it provide any code that is? So the difference between Classic and Content Builder, Smart Captcha still exists there. So it doesn't mean that you don't get the same functionality. Side note, the Classic function within Marketing Cloud is going to be slowly no longer supported. I think emails already started to be no longer supported by next month, and landing pages I think is coming next year. But it doesn't mean you don't have the same functionality in Classic that you do in Content Builder. Content Builder just means that you're sharing content within emails, within Content Builder that you can use in email and landing pages, whereas the old way it was you built anything in Classic for landing pages stayed there, and anything for email stayed there. So that's the differences of that.
Right. Okay, cool. Let's test this. Save and publish, schedule and publish. So here, you can also view, the desktop and mobile view, what's going to be showing. Save and publish. So now we opted that I want to display this cloud page onto the web now that I can see it here. So let's test this one. So if I submit into this form, I should get the data saved onto my data extension, which is the Cloud Page Smart Capture. So let's try. Pull that chain. Pull.
Maybe just put my name with today's date so that we can see that you have got me already saved in the data extension.
21st of May, 2020. But that. Then let's have, oh, what's your phone number? Kidding. Let's have it put in. I don't want you to be on. Oh, wait. Did I just click on the submit?
Yeah, very fast.
Yeah, I just clicked on the submit. So let's say that form was submitted already. Wait, what's happening?
We just had a glimpse there that it went from 3 to 4, so it looks like I have been entered.
It is. Let's check. It should be the information that I inserted in the Smart Capture. There you go. It's now record count of 4. Poll chain should be inside here on this data extension. Oh, there you go. So I didn't manage to finish the phone number. So yeah. Okay. So the 4th record came here, Paul Chang, and then of course the date today that I answered. The first name,
So
the last name.
What I've noticed and experienced with Smart Captcha, though, it does only allow you to input the person once, and
True.
It won't give you any error message if you input the email address again.
Yep. If you use the same email address and using this Smart Capture. So, like for example here, that's what like Paul is saying. If you try to insert the same email addresses and put on different name, it will not allow you to enter or submit the form.
You can see it's not doing anything. It's not giving you a message.
Yes. So if that's the case, then yeah, you're gonna display a model that's saying that you're already subscribed onto this like mailing list or whatever.
Yeah. So that's what we end up doing with customers. We add in additional code in order to incorporate that if that happens, to check. We do the code to check the data extension. If I do exist, then it says you've already subscribed. Would you? And then if you have an update details page, would you like to go to the update details page or things like that?
Sure. All right. So next, I want to show you the flexibility of the web collect. So this web collect is much more flexible when you're using the smart capture. What I mean is, what I mean here is that you can insert, like for example, what Paul is saying, if you are inserting up an existing record, like for example here a Paul Cheng at afdigital.com, and if you use that one again on this web collect form, what this does is that you have the option to just update the record on that specific email related to that specific email address, like for the first name, last name, mobile, and phone. So let's discuss first this one. This is an example of a web collect. So this is the HTML that we are saying, the HTML form that you can also use or apply on your website, specifically on your specific website, or on a page or a model. So like for example here, this form action is using the DE manager, which is, I believe, this DE manager it allows you to add information via web form to a data extension instead of a subscribers list. And then of course it is a post method, of course, as we're posting information. And then I want to discuss about this line on the code. The client ID, this one, the client ID, the value of this client ID should be your MID. So in our MID, this is our MID. And then next is the D external key. This D external key is the value of the external key of your data extension. So if I go back to my data extension, I can see the external key here on the properties of the data extension, this one. So I just copy pasted it. So I just copy it and then paste it in here. And then the action next. This is what I'm saying. If you decide to do an an update, like for example, Polsheng is already existing in the data extension, and like for example, he used again the form using the same email addresses. The first When he hit the submit, it will just update the first name, last name, mobile, and phone. If he entered a different value. So if you just use add, it will just add and add and add on to your data extension. So next is the success URL and the error URL. These two URLs are like a validation on your form, like saying that if you have successfully entered onto that form, it will redirect to this URL. And if it failed, it will redirect to this URL. So how do you map it to your data extension? Simple as using the input code, like input type text. Of course, we're using text, and then of course this class form control, like what I said, I just use directly here the link and then use the bootstrap CSS. I just use the form control class so that I have a quick class that I can show you. And then the name. This is the most important thing. You map the field name based on the name. So my field name is equals to email address, and then the name should be email address, and so on and so forth until you finish all the fields that you want to display on your form. First name, last name, mobile, and phone. First name, last name, mobile, and phone. First name, last name, mobile, and phone. And of course, you want to have a button or submit button. So this submit is the value of this, of course, is submit. So if we want to try, let's insert a new record first. I'm going to be inserting my email address, Oliver 21st, May 2020. I want to insert my mobile, but I don't want to insert my phone. That's fine since we didn't, put this on the required. to click on the submit, this is the what I'm saying. If the form was successfully submitted, it will redirect, to the success page. Or if you want, if you have a landing page just saying that that's the form was successfully created or submitted, you can have a landing page just saying that it was a success. So let's check the data extension. It should be all right. Record had 5 now. Records. We can see here that I'm now entered into the data extension. Next that
Yeah,
I
you
want to
see that
try,
you've been added.
yeah.
Okay, the new date. Yep.
Next is I want to try here is the flexibility of just updating the record if I am within this inside this data extension. So the web collect can do that since we do use the action of add and update. So let's say I'm still using the same email address, but I want to have a different name. So my first name is Jose.
Jose.
Yeah, that's my first name. And I want now to this to enter my phone number, for example. Click on to submit. Of course, it's success. And then if we go back to the um, on the data extension, and then of course our record is still on the count of 5 since that record that we entered is already in here. So we expect that on this record, the record will be updated. There you go. So this is my email address. I just updated my first name and put on a phone number. So
Just a
that's
couple
what
of
I'm
questions
saying.
here,
Yeah, go ahead.
Oliver. Is there a concept such as progressive profiling? That's if you already have the subscribers data that relevant fields don't show. I mean, again, nothing out of the box functionality, but you can set the web collect to do that to pull in the data. That has to reside in Marketing Cloud though, because it then will use the subscriber guide to look in the data extension if that person exists. Or if you're in CRM, then you have to pull information from the CRM using script and code.
Yep. And then
Um,
if
sorry, go ahead. It's just one more
okay,
question.
yeah, if
Um,
from James.
yes, if it is an existing
James,
customer and he submitted those details,
would
would this
this
cause a duplicate?
duplicate?
Um, so on the web collect, it won't because it will reference whatever the primary key is. And in this case, email address was the primary key. If you're using Smart Captcha, it won't allow you to actually add in
Add.
another
Yep.
row
Record.
with the same email address.
Yep.
If that answers James.
All right. Thanks, James. Right. Whoa, that's fast. We're on to the last 5 minutes. Last is I want to show you the AMP script onto the cloud page. How to use an AMP script by pulling records directly onto your data extension. So I have this ready landing page that I created earlier. So here, let's say I wanna display the first name and last name based on my data extension. And whoever opens this cloud page will be the source from its email. So this is the AMP script. So you declare first, of course, the variables that you're gonna needing, and then set those variables. Like for example, here I've used the query parameter. It's the query parameter is like getting the parameter from your URL. So let's say I have the subscriber key there, and then get that from the query parameter, and then here on the set customer at customer ID, this is the most important thing, the lookup rows. This lookup row is an AMP script functional, an AMP script function that you can, like querying the records from that data extension. So I just use on the cloud page smart capture the name of the data extension, and of course the email address that is equal to my subscriber key, which is the SK. So here in the next line, I want to count the rows from that customer ID. If that row count is greater than 0, meaning to say that it has a record on it on that data extension, I want to display now the first name and the last name, just like here. And then use that set variables to display on my cloud page. So again, a simple calling of a variable. It's going to be % equals v, the variable, and then the name of the set variable type, first name, and same here goes in the last name. So how can I use this AMP page? So if I go here onto my email, there's that one. If I go here, yep, there I go. Let's say you want to display the first name and the last name onto the landing page coming from the email, of course. For example, your customer viewed your email and then they clicked on the button on that email, redirecting to your cloud page. So how did I do that? I just used the link URL, of course, the cloud page URL link. This is the cloud page ID, the 12185. The 12185 is the cloud page ID of this page. And then I added up the query parameter, which is I'm going to be needing to pull the record of this specific record onto the cloud page. So I use the sub key, and then I just, for security purposes, I just use the base encode base 64 encode, so that I'm not going to be exposing, the email address onto the link or onto the URL. So I just encode that one and use, of course, the subscriber key, since our subscriber key is as used as the subscriber key on this data extension. So if I'm going to do a preview test here, okay, there you go. And the select, of course, your correct data extension. Masterclass, landing page, smart capture. Then we'll select one row. And then you can also directly preview and test it here. This button is going to be working. If this email address is present onto your, if this subscriber key is already present into your all subscribers list. If it's not present, it will not work. So what I recommend is that you do a test send first, so that it can generate a subscriber key onto your all subscribers. And then once you viewed it, like for example here, I created that one. I tested it here and then click onto your email. It's going to be displaying the first name and the last name of this record that I chosen.
You're right. I think we're just a
Browse
little bit
advanced.
almost out of time. So that's a really
Yeah,
good feature in order to personalize your pages. And basic code 64 allows you to keep your URLs encrypted, which is always recommended. That's the last question from Irene. If you want to use web to lead forms, do you just embed the code onto a web collect form, or do you embed it into a landing page? Oliver, you want to take that one?
if you want to use web to lead forms, do you just embed the code into the web collect form, or do you embed it in the landing page? Well, web collect form is different from a web to lead form. So because the web to lead form is going to be generated onto your Salesforce. So if you want to use that web to lead form and then apply it onto your cloud page, you can just use the HTML block, drag that HTML block onto your landing page, onto your page, and then paste your web to lead form HTML on that one.
All right. That leaves us to 2 o'clock. What's the session next week? Well, we forgot
Yeah.
to cross off 4 and 5 because this is session 5. So
Oh
we're
wait.
doing the last session on 6.
Yes. Oh, so
This is our
on the
Einstein.
session 6, we are going to be discussing the Marketing Cloud Einstein next Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, and the videos are available on our YouTube channel. If you want to go to our YouTube channel, they'll be emailed, and we will be sending all messages to
Sure.
anyone who's
Great.
come with those links. But if you go to YouTube and search for AF Digital, our videos are there.
Right.
And if you need to
All
contact
right.
us, we're afdigital.com. Thank you for everyone's time. Really appreciate it. Thank you for attending. Thank you for the questions. We really appreciate your time. Have a great
Thank you,
day.
guys. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for viewing.
Thanks, Oliver.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.